What's going on, people? You know, I sat down doing a session of Yeezy videos a few months back or whatever, and I thought, well, this is the last one or whatever, right? It was not, obviously, because I sat down and did this all over again recently. And then I thought, okay, this is the last one. And it wasn't, also, because even though they were the same videos as today, the camera messed up on me and I didn't get any of the sound on the last session that I did. So now I got to redo all 8 of these videos, which kind of sucks a fair amount, right? But it is what it is. Either way, so down there, side of the box, this is the one we're here to talk about in this particular moment. So let's go ahead and talk about it, huh? This right here is the Adidas Yeezy Boost 350 V2 in the Carbon Beluga colorway. I have to pause and think about that because it's just like completely left my mind. Now, let's go get on into some things, huh? Right? So we're going to start this thing with the bottom. That sounds like a good idea. Down there, what you're looking at, right? It's going to be like the same style you've seen on every other 350 outsole or whatever. Standard color, little boost peeking through. Yeah, you've seen it before. So when we move on up here to the midsole, you will probably be equally unsurprised that this is also the same that you've seen on a million other things before. And there's no switching colors on the back for that Thanos chin sort of thing goes on, right? Sometimes they change the color. This time it's all the same seamlessness. Now, get you guys some other pictures in here because why not, right? I like pictures. Maybe you guys like pictures too. If you don't, you're watching the wrong video. This right here, looking at these from a little higher angle or whatever, you can kind of see that they do have a bit more going on in them than the last video that I did, right? Well, at least the last video I recorded, which may not necessarily be the last video you saw. But either way, so they got a little bit more happening, right? Which is kind of cool. It is, because it gives it a nice little bit of character. The one thing that I'll mention in here right now, because this is true of all 350s, when you start seeing all these extra layers and stuff, sometimes that does kind of play into like the sizing and whatnot. So when you look at like the MX series that has also a lot of layers to it, kind of feels a little tighter, right? Then when you look at something like the Sesame or whatever, where it's just like the one color, not so much. But they still do feel pretty much all in the same ballpark as far as fit goes overall. It's like a minor difference, but just something to put out there. Either way, so let's go ahead and talk about some things about these real quick, because these are pretty cool and I want to get you some highlights in there. So first off, you do have the Supply 350 big old orange strip thing going on the side, which is honestly my favorite 350 look, right? So you got that happening, which I'm a fan of. Then when you look at the other sides and just other areas in general of the shoe, like you'll see a lot of the same coloring, right? And you also have those little orange bits and stuff peeking through all the way throughout the upper and onto the back, all that stuff, right? So like I was saying, it's kind of a cool little look, at least in my opinion. And then when you look on the inside, you can also see some of that orange down in there, which these would look kind of cool, like inverted almost, you know? But that's just my take on it. You know, I mean, like if you turn them inside out or whatever, you know, but that only happens if you like swing over a swing set or something. That's how I remember it anyways. But looking also at the laces, this is a big selling point for me because they do have 3M laces. So it's always a nice touch to see that. And they do feel a little weird. Also, you hear that? Yeah, that's the sound they make when they're like rubbing against each other. So it shouldn't really matter because it's not like the laces really move around a lot, but I just put it out there anyways. So either way, I'd say that's enough out of me for like looks and such. So let's talk about some personal thoughts, huh? Personally, this right here is a dang fine 350, right? When I saw that they were done with them, and then they put these out, I was like, oh, you know what? I hope you are, because you're ending on like the highest of high notes right now. I mean, I think the last one that I was really into and actually wanted for real was the Dazzling Blue, and that was a while ago, right? And I picked up a lot of them. I've seen them all, not all of them in person, you know what I'm saying? As far as 350 releases go. And personally, for me, this one ranks like super high, right? It's just doing a lot of the things that I would like for them to do, you know what I'm saying? Visually speaking. I mean, the feel wise is like basically on par with everything else, so that's a non-factor in my eyes. But either way, looking at these, if this one happens to be the last 350 that they made, because I don't know if they're gonna release more that they just haven't sold in the past or what's going on with Adidas anymore, I honestly just don't care. But if this is the final piece of that chapter or whatever, I am totally on board with it because these looked really cool and I'm glad I was able to get them without any extra hassle. I just want to raffle on the confirmed or whatever, and here we are. So yeah, this is one that I'm glad to have it in the collection. I really am, you know? Which is weird because normally I do these 350 reviews and it's like, yeah, I guess it's fine. I mean, I've seen some that are worse, you know what I mean? But you know, that whole thing. But no, this one I actually like. So it's kind of a weird thing, you know what I'm saying? Either way, let's move on. We'll talk about some sizing, then that'll be the end of the video. Sizing wise, right? I bought these in a 9.5 because I have a size 9.5 foot and I feel that Yeezys are pretty solid true to size fit, right? A lot of people don't agree with that and I get it because they are super snug or whatever. If you do get one and it's not fitting so great, I mean, you can take the insole out, right? You can do that. And if you're like me and if you've tried going up a half before and you don't like the way that it worked out, then just wear some thicker socks, right? You can fix it pretty easily that way. So I won't get too big onto the size or get too deep into the sizing, just saying what I think, right? Gather some other opinions from the internet if you have access to it. Now, as far as the comfort overall goes, right? The 350s are super comfortable. I'm not going to dispute that. The compact version is definitely the most comfortable version of it. However, those are a little lacking in the colors and availability, so you're mostly stuck with like these 350s. And the only difference being that the upper on those is better. The midsole on each one, very much the same. So walking around in these, a lot of people talk them up like they're the most comfortable shoes out there and like you got to get these if you want actual comfort on your feet. I mean, I would not agree with that completely. Like, I'm not going to talk down on them, but there are just so many options from so many brands that are so comfortable and often cheaper and in a wider variety of colors that it'd be crazy to just like back yourself into that corner. That's just my take on it. But all in all, though, I'm not going to sit here and talk down on the 350s. I like the nice little prime knit that kind of stretches out over time, fits a little better to your foot if you wear them enough. They're breathable, they're light. Yeah, they're just not made anymore, I guess, or whatever. So there is that. But that's enough out of me on the sizing anyways for these shoes here. So, from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Like I said before, I got a lot of stuff to do, and recording these things is only a small portion of it. I'm still going to have a whole lot of crap to do after the fact. So, later, people.